And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Today we're taking a look at a game, ROFL, exclamation point, or as they say, ROFL. Now this is a game that riffs on the whole text messaging thing. If I am texting somebody else, many people will shorten their message down. Can't stand that myself. I use capital letters and try to use proper grammar and punctuation, but I guess that doesn't help if you're texting a lot. You need to speed write, so people write this ROFL, rolling on the floor laughing, which incidentally nobody ever does when they write that, but that's a different point. The way this game is presented is you are taking a phrase and you're trying to shorten it down into letters and numbers and symbols and then trying to get someone else to guess it. Let me show you how. Alright, the game comes with a deck of cards, a 30-second timer, a board, a bunch of pawns that each player can have of their color, and a bunch of chips that you'll use for scoring. Each player will be given a board. It's hard to tell in this video, but the board here is basically, very faintly in the background, there is a grid. So when you're writing on the board, you will write one letter or number per grid. So if I was writing, I am here for you. So then that basically we do that so we can keep track of the number of characters in the game. Now, one person is going to be the guesser. That person is going to take a card and they're going to show that card to everybody else. So maybe it's this, I'm bringing sexy back and the topic is music. They'll know the topic. Everybody else will tell them. Or I'm hungry like the wolf. Sometimes the cards, books, and it's clobbering time, which is the thing. Or it was a dark and stormy night, or here's looking at you, kid, or help, help, I'm being repressed. And so I don't want to show too many of the things that are in the game, but there's quite a few of them. So everyone sees the thing except one person. And then everyone plays simultaneously. We run the timer. And they're going to write down that message as short as they can while thinking that you can get it. Once you know how many letters are in your message, or symbols, or numbers, you can use anything that you can find on a keyboard. Let's say it takes you 7, you'd put your thing on 7. Someone else says, oh, I can do it in 5, they put on 5. Someone else says 10. Someone else also says 7, but there already is one in the 7, so they have to go to 8. That's just the way it is. Once everyone's done being guessing, then we bring out the boards and the person looks at it. So he looks at this one, STD. It's 3 symbols or letters. Well, that's not very helpful. So the guesser has 30 seconds, and he has one guess at it. You can't give him any clues. He can't sound it out. He just has one guess. If he gets it right, then he and the other person who wrote it will both get 3 points. If he can't get it right, so here he says, some kind of disease? No. So then the next person shows theirs. They only use 7 characters, and oh, it's shut door. Well, not close enough according to this group. So that would have been 2 points for him and the guesser. Then the next one, oh, it's shut the door. Shut the door. So then because of that, because you finally guessed it, 1 point for me and 1 point for the guesser. If I'd gone farther than that, down to shut the door, I would have also got 1 point for this. If you guess it on the first one, 3 for you and the person. Second one, 2 for you and the person. Anything after that, 1 for you and the person who wrote it. And you can have arguments over that. So you know, for example, if you're the last person and you have plenty of time, you might as well write out the whole message, right? I mean, because the person will get it. And you don't have to even write the exact message if it's something that you can shorten down. Like, for example, the rule book has 7 years ago. You could write Abe said, and maybe someone would guess it from that. So you're doing that. Once you do that, you'll take your points, and then you continue on to the next round. After everyone has been the guesser 3 times, the game ends, and whoever has the most points is the winner. The boards erase very easily because there's erasers on the pens, and so that will come off like that, and then you just go on. It's very easy. It's just trying to condense it down to that short message. Now, you don't have to use the phrases that are in the game. I mean, you can make up your own. There's blank cards in the game, but you could just make up your own phrase. One person writes down a phrase and everybody does it. I mean, so the game has a lot of replayability in that sense, but even with the cards themselves, I think there's a lot of options. This is an excellent party game. This is a really good idea. It reminds me of 25 Words or Less, which was a game in which you had to take your clue and put down as few words as possible. Here you're taking in as few letters as possible. Sure, you could write out a few letters and maybe get 3 points, but likely they're not going to guess it from yours. So you have to find that balance. How short can I shrink it and still think that they're going to guess it? Especially if I make it too short, but I might give a clue to the next person's guess. The game is a lot of fun. The boards and the markers, that's good quality. Comes in kind of a fat-shaped box, which seems to be the trend these days. But the idea of this game is just one of that a lot of people are going to get, because people are already shortening their texts down and trying to make them as short as possible, or for Twitter or what have you. And this is a game that capitalizes on that. But even for someone like me who doesn't like that trend of shorting things down, thinks it's great for game purposes. This works well with large groups. I've even managed to run it party style with a very big group of people. And I think there's a lot of laughter as people laugh at the guesses that someone makes. And it's one that's very easy to teach. You'll be able to jump into it a few minutes in. So I give this one thumbs up. ROFL.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching The Dice Tower. The Dice Tower is sponsored by Cool Stuff Inc., where you can find great games for great prices. Cool stuff in stock. Check them out at CoolStuffInc.com.
Hey, Tom, shut the door.